We had a really good success right out of the gate. We've got about 100,000 users currently on the platform. We've got partnerships with 5 mobile game development studios, and we really wanted to, and we're launching an ICO very soon, but what we wanted to do is do things a little bit different than a lot of the other ICOs out there. We wanted to prove our model works first, so we developed the product, we took it to market, we did a proof of concept on it. We're starting to scale and show that we have an existing use for our product and early adoption for it prior to going into the market and doing a token sale.
So you're pre-ICO, but you're up and running.
Correct, yes.
So are you doing the kind of a Series A pre-sale coming up? Have you done a pre-sale?
Yeah, we did a small pre-sale back in March of this year. It was actually at that point in time what we called a ticket sale. So we were actually pre-selling tickets into our pay-to-play events, and we were giving the tokens away at that period of time, which was actually quite successful. I think we sold just about 800,000 tickets in the pre-sale, and now with the ICO, it's really more token-based. And traditional type of ICO where we're actually selling the tokens, which will be an access token onto the platform for the players to participate in the tournaments.
So I was at a couple of blockchain conferences this past weekend, and the big topic everywhere is KYCs. Yeah. And where are you guys at in terms of knowing your customers and following the anti-money laundering policies?
For sure, we're fully compliant with that. I mean, that's a big step. We've been working with our Canadian regulators here in Canada with the BC Securities Commission since October of last year. So it was really important for us to follow all the rules in terms of what we can do, what we can't do, what's legally allowed, and through that process, it's actually made our company a lot stronger. And knowing that at the end of the day, when we launch this, it's going to be fully compliant with all the Canadian regulations. That was very important to us. So KYC, AML, all of that is fully compliant.
How do the Canadian rules go for U.S. investors? So are U.S. investors able to invest in a Canadian ICO?
Yeah, right now only accredited investors. So we have to use the accredited investor status in the United States. So it won't be open to the general public in its current status. But the goal with what we're doing at the end of the process, once we actually launch, we're quite confident that U.S. investors will be able to participate once the token is actually live and running on the exchange.
So what's your, I don't know if you can give out too many timelines, but do you like to have a timeline? When's this going to be up and running?
The actual ICO itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at mid-September for the launch of the ICO.
And you're not able to say exchanges that you're on, but you can tell me, are you going to be on, have you been working with any exchanges?
Yeah, we're actually built on the Waves platform. So we're using Waves blockchain because of a lot of speed concerns and scalability on Ethereum network. So with Waves, they actually have a built-in decentralized peer-to-peer exchange in the platform that we're going to be able to have access to.
And so is this a global, I mean, you're accepting accredited investors only from the U.S., but what about the rest of the globe?
Yeah, the rest of the world, we have to follow the rules that apply country by country. So we've been actually working for the last several months with our law firm to get legal opinions from each of the countries that we're going to be selling into. So it really varies country by country.
That's a lot of work to do. You only have, 192 countries to work through?
Yeah, we're not going to do all of them, but the main ones that where a lot of the crypto investors are, and specifically in esports as well too. There are specific countries like South Korea, China, Japan that have very large esport and mobile gaming audiences. So we feel that we're going to have a large appeal to that audience as well. So we're really trying to focus on the areas that that we feel that the users are more likely to use the product as well too.
Okay, so now that you brought that up, let me just hit you hard with this. What's your competitive advantage over some of the other gaming tokens like Engine? And I know there's a number of different gaming tokens out there already. Do you have any different strategies? Are you familiar with the ones out there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, most of the gaming tokens out there right now are really dealing with either skins and the whole being able to hold the value of them and trade the value of the skins themselves. Whereas we're really focused on empowering the game developers. So when we plug into an existing game developer's game, we're giving that game developer a better way to access their audience. Those users are more likely to stay engaged longer. They're more likely to play longer. They're more likely to spend money inside that game. So by giving those developers that a better competitive edge over their competitor, and giving the players more reasons to play these games, that's sort of our real competitive edge. We're going quite a bit deeper into the actual gameplay itself versus just on the skins or the value of items that may be earned inside of a game and the transfer of those values.
Now, okay, so let's talk a little bit about the tokenomics. So if I'm trading a game, then what would I do? I'd earn some points I'd do an exchange, a crypto to crypto exchange, get the tokens, and then go and earn more while I'm playing the game. And then I could trade them back for other cryptos, or how's the whole I guess it's not tokenomics, but how's the overall infrastructure going to work?
Sure. So currently the app that we launched is all free to play. So what we wanted to do is appeal to as large of an audience as we can. Users that come onto a game, let's say for instance, what's Jackpot Jelly is equivalent to Candy Crush. So we have a game very much like Candy Crush. And so it's a match 3. You go through, you complete a level. You'd earn rewards in that depending on how you scored in that level. When you open those rewards to see what you've won, you could either win cryptocurrency, you could win points that move you up the leaderboard. And so players are competing against each other to move up the leaderboard as fast as they can. And at the end of the time, when it runs out, we basically pay out currency to those players that finished highest on the leaderboard. Now that you've got this currency, our RMOB tokens, currently right now you'll be able to exchange them for other different cryptos through the exchange, or once we launch our pay to play, which is our next project that's going to be launching fairly closely coinciding with the ICO, where you can use those tokens to compete against other players in a skill-based environment to earn even more tokens. So the pricing will be a lot larger in the skill-based competitions.
And do you have any non-gaming applications for these? I'm kind of curious.
We don't right now. We were really highly focused in the gaming space, but it is, essentially it is a loyalty token. So the token could be used more broadly in other aspects if somebody was to implement this into any other rewards type of a application.
Okay. And so back to the tokenomics, is there a cap on these? Are we looking at what kind of quantity? And
yeah, so the total tokens that we have are 1.5 billion tokens in total. Companies keeping 10%. We have 10% as a reserve fund, and 65% is being sold to the users, and then we have 15% that we've held back to give out to in our free-to-play environment. So those are going to be slowly earned out over time as players play the free-to-play games on the platform.
Is that any airdrops in the future?
We've done a few small airdrops that coincided with the original pre-sale, and we will be doing another airdrop closer to the ICO.
Okay, so a couple ICO questions I like to ask. Sure. Is a little, who's your team? Have you guys worked together before? Have you produced products before? What's your background?
Yeah, Colin Colin's on the tech side, and maybe he can give a little bit more background on that.
Yeah, for sure. So I can talk. So I've always been a software developer my entire life. I've been a lead developer for Motorola back in Europe. I'm obviously from England. I've been also a lead developer for TRW Europe, and also for Vodafone back in the UK. So that's been my background. I've always been a developer. I met Todd back in 2015, I believe. He had this crazy idea about making mobile games give away real-world prizes. So we sort of collaborated and came up with RewardMob, as it stands now. There's a team. We have 2 other developers working here as well on the front end. I'm currently also working on the back end, the server side of things. We have a developer out in Prague, 2 other team members out in Prague. How many? I think there's 12 of us in total now, working all around the world.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And who else is on? Okay, so you guys are based in Canada. Then you've got the development team in Prague. Are there any other people involved?
Yeah, we have one of our marketing managers out of LA was his name's Jeff Donnelly. He was formerly with working on the marketing plan for the DraftKings rollout. So he was a part of the team that launched that product. I don't know if you're familiar with DraftKings, but they've made pretty large headway in the fantasy gaming space. So he's got a lot of knowledge that he's going to be able to help us with the rollout strategy after the ICO is complete. Brad, who you know through Blockable. We have Thomas, comes from CashPlay, which was an esport company out of the United States. Andre as well, both came from CashPlay. So lots of industry experience in gaming, esports, technology.
Yeah. And we're hoping to grow as well soon.
I'm sorry, you're what?
So we're hoping to grow soon as well. We need to hire a lot more developers. So.
Okay, are you looking to expand on the gaming side as well?
Yes, definitely expanding on the gaming side. We actually have 2 YouTube influencers that we've just taken on. We haven't publicly announced them yet, but we will be announcing them soon. We're actually doing customized games for the YouTube influencers. So we're going to be putting their likenesses into the games, and we're going to be targeting towards their audience so that they can actually run tournaments specifically for their audience on our platform. And also it's all going to be crypto friendly and prizing. So it gives us a way to grow our audience on a massive scale by working with existing YouTube influencers. I think one of them has over 12 million members on YouTube, and the other one 6.5, something along those lines. So so not only are we working with existing game developers, we're also developing games for YouTube personalities to help them talk to their audience better and engage with their audience better.
Awesome. Now, just to pick on you though, there are some markets like China where they're pretty into technology, but they're restricted from using YouTube. So do you have any plans for working there?
Yeah, China's a tricky place.
They are, aren't they?
For sure. We have started looking at strategies on how to tackle that, but
yeah.
Primarily, our European marketplace, South and Central America, we look at as a big marketplace. South Korea, Japan,
South Korea, Japan, especially South Korea, should be huge in the gaming scene.
Massive, and cryptocurrency. They're sort of the leaders in both of those spaces right now.
Yeah, I heard stats. I forget, but it was roughly like 1 out of 4, or maybe even more people, like on the street, if you just went up to them, would have a crypto wallet. The amount of housewives with the crypto wallets is just really a high percentage there. And then China, the Chinese are very active in the crypto space, although they have some restrictions. But I've been at a number of conferences, and we're looking at how can we better connect Silicon Valley inventors with some of the capital coming out of there. You've got Node, is it Node 1? I mean, there's a whole host of different Chinese firms looking